some noise! What the Rock is cooking! If you want The Rock to win his ass to this ring, give me a hell yeah!
Hell yeah, back inside of your computer, I'm W.V. Ward.
And I'm Chip Douglas.
SCI Wrestling is under full swing again. We ought to put a ring bell in there to start this match
That's a
off.
very good idea.
Yeah, really, and it would be very apropos.
I agree.
As they say.
I completely agree.
And have somebody count down to 3 at the end of the program.
3, 2, 1, go.
Anywho, it's been an active week, and let's just go ahead and get the 800-pound gorilla out of the room.
Our social media, or
no, Mae Young is not dead.
oh, yeah. Contrary to
I don't know
some
what
reports,
idiot posted that on our Facebook page.
Well, you know what? There's
moron.
I don't know what to believe at this point. There was conversation that she was dead. TMZ, which is a very reliable source, said that she was dead. And they published another article that says she wasn't dead. She's just gravely ill.
What was her first clue when she sat up and went, "Nuh-uh"?
So, I don't know what's going on. Interesting story about Mae Young is she actually, back in her wrestling days, tried to recruit my stepdad's sister,
really?
to become a women's wrestler. And she very well could have, because she was, like a man. But yeah, that's a cool story about Mae Young for me.
Now, no disrespect meant to Mae Young, because I got to tell you, of all of the wrestlers, I mean, she's the only wrestler, male or female, who has wrestled in, 6 different decades?
Oh,
5
yeah,
or 6?
absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
And she's still swinging strong.
70-something years old and taking a
90.
Dudley bomb.
She's 90.
I know, but
oh, yeah, when she was 70, yeah, she did. She took a big bomb.
Yeah, she took some huge bumps.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, gosh, I could barely do that, and I'm 30.
Yeah. Can you imagine the bumps she took with Mark Henry in their sex scene?
Woo!
Now, those are some bumps.
And JR's head came out, right?
Oh, God. When JR's head came out?
What was that, like, things like they pulled out? Like, one was like a hand, and then they pulled out like JR's head.
Excuse me while I go poke out my mind's eye. Oh, man. Yeah,
I think that was a scene.
Let's talk about our social media. First off, if you ever want to send us an email, have anything burning, any kind of a burning question about professional wrestling at all, you just send us an email to sci@wbward.com. Now, this can be a stump us question if you want to try to stump us. But basically we've opened that up for people who have these burning questions about the business itself, and we'll definitely try to research thoroughly and find out the answer for you and get it to you as accurate as a way possible. Now, if we do use your question on the air, this is not without prize, because we will be giving away absolutely free 3MB air guitars. So you can have your own air guitar of your choice from 3MB, and they're absolutely free. We'll send them to you airmail.
I like that.
That's SCI@WBWard.com. Okay, and here's Mr. Chip with all the other social
everything
media.
else. SCI_Wrestling is our Twitter and our YouTube page, which is where you go listen to our show, and it's Squared Circle Insider Wrestling, which is our Facebook page. And also, just want to go ahead and announce now, next week we have a very, very special episode with a special guest.
Yes.
He's a new guest to the show. Donald Wood is his name. He's from Ring Rust Radio and also Bleacher Report. He's a wrestling writer correspondent for Bleacher Report. Very good head in the business. So I'm very, very excited to have him on the show. And if he's listening to the show, thank you for coming on next week. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a good thing we do this show in the evening, because I would certainly hate to think that if we did this thing in the morning that we could get morning wood.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Now, there's your visual for the night. Right there. Okay, no, that should be an interesting conversation.
It'd be fun.
With this gentleman, find out his insights of the business and where he got started, where he's going, and exactly what the hell is wrong with this little goofy profession we call professional wrestling.
That's true.
Now, are you prepared with a tweet of the week?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, if you're prepared, let's strike up the band and get funky with ourselves.
Oh, yes. And this is when we usually take our little drink break.
Yes.
There it is. There's the pop. Tweet of the Week is brought to you by WCW Today, which is kind of like a retro WCW Twitter.
Right.
And it says, breaking news, Buff Bagwell. Do you remember Buff Bagwell?
Buff Bagwell, yes I do.
Buff Bagwell suspended for 34 nitros for taking performance-enhancing pills.
Not Buff Bagwell.
And running naked into the Nitro Girls locker room.
Found out there was nothing to crow about.
Cranky Vince also did a really good one, too. It says, hey, DirecTV, F you. There's a reason why.
Okay.
And we'll get to that. Well, heck, we might as well get into that right now.
Yeah, I mean, you brought it up, yeah.
All right, so the big announcement this past week was WWE officially announced the launch of the WWE Network.
Yay!
Which is going to launch on February 27th.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be $9.99 a month.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not really for sure how it's going to be done, if it's online streaming or cable networks are going to be... I think it's cable networks that support it.
Yeah, it's going to have to be like a premium channel.
So,
yeah.
DirecTV has already went on record and said they are... because right now the WWE Network is setting it up to where if you subscribe, you'll get every pay-per-view in WrestleMania for free. That's part of your subscription.
And that's part of their property. They have the right to do that.
DirecTV has huge offense to that.
Well, DirecTV are idiots.
Yeah. And so DirecTV is making plans unless something changes to have nothing to do with WWE, period. Which,
if they don't want the money from the millions
and billions
of WWE fans, then fine. I mean, they're morons. They are idiots. They don't see the value in this. I
think it's a great idea. I'm really excited. Unfortunately, right now I have DirecTV, so I don't know if I'll be able to get WB Network. So hopefully, they can come to some kind of resolution, because I'm very excited about it. $9.99 a month is not a lot at all, especially if you're a wrestling fan. Oh,
and considering, and by the way, we have to give this as a disclosure. As far as we know, to the very best of our knowledge, all the offers that we're going to be discussing are current and up to date. However, since this is going to be uploaded to the internet as a podcast, you might be listening to this thing like, months down the road. Some things may change. So if you hear some stuff that is not accurate at the time that you're listening to them, remember, they were accurate at the time that we recorded this program.
It's true.
So, I mean, like the $9.99 a month, that can change.
It could change.
Not likely, but it could. And if I understood that correct, it's like you said, for that $9.99, you get access to all of the stuff that they have on the WWE Network. Mm-hmm. The subscription runs for 6 months at a clip. Mm-hmm. That's $60, give or take, for every piece of classic and current sports entertainment content you could just possibly imagine, including, like you said, all 12 live pay-per-views, right. WrestleMania 30 among them. And it should it happen to fall within that 6-month commitment. Now, all that comes at the price of a single WrestleMania or WrestleMania purchase.
Correct.
And I can understand why DirecTV would not like that, because that does kind of dip into their pockets a little bit. But when they're losing sight of the big picture of the overall amount of profit that even WWE is seeing, a lot of value in selling this at a lower price to far more people rather than $50 a pop to a far fewer people.
Right.
DirecTV are idiots.
Wow. I liked the way you went on that rant there.
Yes.
That's a very good rant.
Thank you very much.
Did you prepare that?
Yeah, well, I guess a lot of it was cut and paste from WWE.com.
Oh, okay.
So, but very well read.
Now, did you see the trailer for the show that's going to be on there, Legends House?
No.
Yeah, it's kind of like a reality show / competition.
Wow.
/ I don't know. But it's featured like Hillbilly Jim, Mean Gene Okerlund, Roddy Piper. Oh goodness, there's more, but they're all going to be in a house living together. And this has already been taped. I think Jimmy Hart's in it. But it's all taped inside a house. Howard Finkel's in it.
With all cameras posted at different places.
Right,
different
right.
Okay,
and then they do different competitions or something like in charity events to make the show entertaining. But there's a trailer online for it. It does look quite funny. So I'm excited to watch that. And I'm a reality show freak.
And one of the things that I like about it is what they're going to be doing with SmackDown and Raw. As I understand it, SmackDown will still be on Sci-Fi and Raw will still be on the USA Network. But for right now. But what will be different at the outset is they're going to have pre-show and post-show programs on either side of the broadcast on WWE.com. Now, I hope they don't move those off of those networks, USA and Sci-Fi, and I'm sure USA and Sci-Fi are definitely going to be fighting tooth and nail to keep them.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I know USA and WWE's contract's running up, and when WWE signed on to him, it was basically desperation for WWE.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to see what USA sees in them after the
What
fact.
else besides WWE does USA have?
I mean, they got their own programming. That's it. That's all they have.
Which is?
Like, they have like their white collar suits. Burn Notice was a big one for them. Monk. I don't know. People seem like Psych. I don't know.
Yeah. No, Psych was okay. Psych was a good show.
I
Of
like
course,
Suits.
I
like
had.
Suits.
Yeah, I haven't seen Suits,
That's good. It's a good. One.
but I have a connection to Psych.
What's that? What? What's your connection? What?
Are you serious? You're asking me
What's your connection?
what my
to Psych?
connection is to Psych?
Yeah.
The Mentalist?
Oh. Never mind.
How soon they forget. Go on to my website, www.ward.com. Or WBWard.com. Yeah, WBWard.com. And that'll fill in the blanks on that one. But I can't believe you.
Sorry. All right. So moving on.
My gosh.
After I just shot myself there.
Yes.
WWE Network. Excited about that. But in other WBE news, Caitlyn, the Diva, was recently released from her duties.
Now, was she released or did she just say, okay, I'm going to get married, so I'm going to take off here?
I don't know.
I'm thinking it must have been that because they allowed her to have her last match.
That's true.
Yeah, this wasn't like a behind the scenes thing and you just never saw them again. They just made the announcement of we wish them well in future endeavors. They actually gave her a final match. So I'm beginning to think that maybe this was done pretty much on her terms and under good terms.
Huh, it could have been. It very well
That
could
or
have been.
it may have been just because Vince liked her boobs. That could be too. But which I can't blame him.
I don't blame him at all.
But no, I'll bet you anything. It was because of her getting married pretty soon. There for a minute. Did you see her last match with AJ?
No.
I thought for a second we were going to have a little sapphic scene there at the end.
Really?
Yeah, because you remember how AJ used to jump up on people and grab hold of them, wrap her legs around her and her arms around them.
Yeah.
She did that with Caitlyn. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Got my
I
attention.
didn't know that.
Got my attention.
Oh, wow.
And I've already deleted it out of my DVR. I tried to you. But then she was just kicked in the head by that lady that follows around AJ.
It's true.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
That's just the way that goes. Okay, how did you like? I really enjoyed Old School.
Oh, yeah. Old School Raw was really, really cool. I was really happy with it. There was, this show was going to be hard for us to do in a 30-minute time span because there was so much to talk about. But yeah.
Now, I got a question for you about Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Was he old or was he drunk?
Probably both.
Because he just seemed, his speech seemed a little more slurred than normal.
I don't think he was actually drunk, but he could have been.
He might have been having one of these lime margaritas.
Limeritas. Yeah.
Whatever
I handed you.
Yeah, Bud Light lime.
Limerita. Wow. Is it good?
Kind of tart.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Kind of tart.
Yeah, I don't like him. But yeah, I don't think he was drunk. I thought it was a great way of starting the opening segment, though. Then they bring Randy Orton out. And
did you see the last match?
What do you mean?
The very last thing on Raw, Old School Raw.
The Roman Reigns CM Punk match?
Yeah.
And who returned?
Yeah.
But we're going to get to that.
Okay.
We're going to get to that.
Okay, I'm chomping at the bit. Okay.
You're jumping ahead here.
Oh, okay.
All right, so opening segment thought went really well. They're kind of building that John Cena Randy Orton match for Royal Rumble, which has been announced. But in other Royal Rumble news, they did also announce that Batista is going to be in the Royal Rumble.
But they're still keeping tight-lipped on with who?
No. He's going to be in the Royal Rumble.
Well, I know he's going to be in it, but they're still keeping tight-lipped on the, duh. Of course they're going to be tight-lipped on that. But you know darn well where that's going. There's no way they're going to put him in it without him coming out looking mighty good.
I think he'll look good in it. I don't think he's going to win it, but I think he's going to look good in it. But yeah, January 20th is we're going to see the debut of Batista at Raw. But we'll go ahead and jump into some of our favorite moments, so that way you can go back to what you were going to say, because it was definitely one of my favorite moments.
Yes.
Of definitely this year in wrestling, and it's going to be hard to beat it. And that was, you want to say it or let me say it?
You go ahead.
Okay. And that was the surprise old school return of Jake the Snake Roberts.
I was very shocked, very surprised. I hadn't been that surprised since Mark Henry had his fake goodbye. I hadn't been fooled. But from what I understand in the press reports, nobody in WWE except for Vince McMahon and Triple H knew that he was going to be showing up. Nobody knew. None of the wrestlers knew. That was a complete surprise to everybody.
I believe it.
Which explains one thing. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but there in the ring when he came in and brought up the new updated Damien and dumped the snake out on what's his doofus on the mat.
You talking about the smile?
Yeah, he was smiling when he did that, and I was sitting there thinking, man, he lost it right there. But then I thought, okay, they knew about it ahead of time, but no, they didn't. It was a big surprise.
Yeah,
but he was smiling from ear to ear.
Dean Ambrose. Yeah,
he knew that he was being involved. He was really being complimented.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I thought that was great. But yeah, it was very cool. Did not see that coming at all.
No.
It was not advertised at all. Jake the Snake has been keeping very much on the down low with his relationship on WWE. I think this might be a really good sign of things to come. Possibly,
I hope so.
Possibly Hall of Fame for Jake the Snake Roberts.
He deserves that. He truly deserves it.
Absolutely. He's one of those guys who always was able just to capture your attention through the screen. And even at his age now, he still had that presence. As soon as he walks through the curtain, he just snaps into that character. So I loved it a lot.
That was just an amazing appearance. I was so happy to be able to watch that and actually see the history take place. It's funny, people who are listening to this podcast and who are maybe not wrestling fans are probably thinking, man, what a couple of nerds these guys are.
Why are they listening?
Well, that's true. But you have to really understand the historical concept of what happened on Monday night with him coming in, because of the fact of his background and the history that he has had, the checkered history that he's had with WWE, and the fact that he came back and all the demons that he fought to get back. So, I mean, there's a great success story here. There really is, and I hope they put it in print. I think
I do
that would be
too.
awesome.
I do too. It was very, very good to see.
Okay, what else happened?
One of my other favorite moments, it was actually Bad News Barrett.
Really?
I loved that segment.
Really?
Yes. What they did with him, with the legends, I thought that was very well done. Yeah, I thought Barrett did it very well.
Well, now, I'm a Barrett fan. I don't like the idea of the Bad News Barrett thing, but I do have to admit, I think he polished that dog turd Monday night pretty good.
I did too. I thought it was very well done, and I thought the legends really sold it.
Yes. They did.
And so I was.
Well,
very,
they're legendary.
Very what?
They're legendary.
They are legendary.
Was there anybody standing on that stage among the legends that you felt maybe really should not have been there?
No.
Nobody?
Mean, maybe Rikishi and Too Cool.
Well, they have the youth.
Because they're younger.
Yeah. I don't know.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking of the New Age Outlaws, and for the very
they weren't there,
and for the very same reason, weren't they out on stage?
No, they were not on the stage during that segment.
I thought they were.
No, they were not.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, because I watched it again today.
I think I'm drinking too much lime. That could be.
No, they did not come out in that segment.
But they were included on Old School. Well, and they are Old School, so I'll give them that. I will give them that. That they deserve to be. Okay. I thought they were on the Legend stage.
It was really cool, though, to see Too Cool all back together, though.
It was.
That was a really high
And
moment.
they still have their moves.
Absolutely. Rikishi not so much, but
no. Well, he never did. I mean, he's got that one move called the stink face, and that's about it.
He didn't even get to do it.
No, and I'm glad, because that always kind of grossed me out. I always want to hear them yell just so I could hear the echo.
Now, of course, he was supporting his sons really more than anything.
Well, sure.
Sure.
And, of course, we got one other thing that happened on Old School, and for me, it was the big disappointment of the evening.
Daniel Bryan?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I can't help but wonder if the storyline on that could be Daniel Bryan is faking the whole thing.
I think he is.
Do you think that could be what the storyline is?
Yeah, I think so.
I hope so, because quite frankly, this is not very believable.
Right.
This is, and I hope he doesn't do it with the hopes of breaking up the Wyatt family, because I think that's the one thing that's good.
I don't think he's doing that. I think he's kind of doing the keep your friends close, enemies closer type of mentality.
That could be.
So, I mean, this segment kind of fell short. Obviously, he's still a fan favorite. So there's no way they're going to keep him with the Wyatts.
However, when we're talking about the subject of breaking up somebody, I think the way that they were starting the breakup
Shield?
of the Shield.
Uh-huh.
I think they're doing this in a very, very good way.
They are. They very well are.
And quite frankly, this is an angle you don't find much in professional wrestling, where you're playing a team member against another. You don't. For some reason, I've always wondered why you don't see that storyline very often. As a matter of fact, I really can't remember ever seeing it played before. At least not like this.
Not like this.
Have you? Do you recall any time?
Boy, it's no.
I mean, it's pretty rare.
It's very, very rare.
They don't go to this well too often.
Right. So I like it, especially when they did Piper's Pit. Mm-hmm. He kind of called out, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. They can't beat CM Punk, but he kind of left a mystery in the back of everyone's head but the other guy, he might be able to. Now,
you brought up Piper.
Right.
I'll ask you the same question about Piper that I asked about Ric Flair a while ago. Old or drunk?
I'm not gonna say either. Yes, he's old, but he definitely wasn't drunk. I thought Piper was great.
I thought he was okay, but again, his speech was not. Was it just because of his advanced age?
Maybe, perhaps,
it could be
very well, perhaps.
It very well could be.
He's actually pitching an idea for a WrestleMania match for him and CM Punk versus not Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, and John Cena.
Wow.
Now that would be something.
Wow. Oh, that's almost better than my idea with Dusty Rhodes special guest refereeing between his two sons.
I agree.
That's a damn good idea.
I thought when I read that idea, I was like, that would be pretty dang cool.
Now, with the big focus that they've had on old school, because you got to admit, they've done old school before on WWE. This is not anything new. But this year, they do seem to have pushed this a little harder than what they've pushed in the past. And they've really, really pumped up the legends. They really, really pumped up the idea of doing old school and bringing back old wrestlers. Do you see this as a possible indictment against their current talent?
It very well could be, because one thing that excites me and frustrates me about the previous WrestleManias is the fact that they have to rely on bringing back stars to make it a viable product.
And that is a shame. That doesn't speak well of the current talent.
Exactly.
Because don't forget, these people that they are bringing back was at one time current talent.
Right.
And they were able to put butts in the seats.
Exactly.
And that seems to be a little difficulty, which also may just bring us back full circle around to why they're selling the ranch for $9.95 for 6 months.
That's true.
And I hate to see it going that way, but perhaps with their recent branching off with their first European full-time office, they'll be able to open their doors to the possibility of more talent. You might recall one of the episodes of Totally Divas when one of the divas, it was one of the Funkadactyls, brought her boyfriend in for an audition, and it turns out the guy just completely blew it in the ring. Absolutely could not handle it.
Was it the Greek guy?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I didn't see that episode.
Oh yeah. And I thought that was a wonderful, I love the way that they portrayed this guy. This guy was a big, tough guy. He was a big, muscular guy. You knew he worked out a lot.
Right.
And undoubtedly, he felt very confident and cocky. He got in the ring and found out just running the ropes is enough to tear you down. And he probably felt so insufficient at the end of the night when he found out his girlfriend did this for a living and made him look like a wuss. Because I got to tell you, these, you call pro wrestling what you will, but these guys work hard.
Oh yeah,
and I mean hard. Back in my younger day, when I could get into a ring and I ran the ropes, I'm here to tell you, if the ring is well made, when you're bouncing off from one ropes on one set of ropes on one side of the ring, and you're running to the other side, and you run back and forth, you do that 3 or 4 times. I don't care how good a shape you're in, you're going to be wore out just with that little run. And I know that doesn't sound like much, but there's a lot of give to the ring. That's like running through sand.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can picture running through sand on a beach, That's about what it feels like if you've gone back and forth 3 or 4 times. Just that run will wear you out. And then when you start taking bumps, you start getting body slammed, you start delivering body slams, picking up somebody who weighs like 300 to 400 pounds over your head, throwing them back down. And we're talking dead weight here, like lifting a sack of flour. These guys work hard. And this big tough guy got in the ring and found out he was nothing more than a little boy.
And also, with running the ropes, well, my mic is going away from me. I'm sorry.
You just wait till you get to be my age.
I know. The ropes, they bite.
Yes, they do. And probably more so in the WWE because they actually use ropes.
Yes. Yeah. Because when I did my little independent stint back when I was 18, 19 years old, that was like one of the hardest things to do is, you fly yourself in that rope and that thing will bite you like crazy right there in the fat of your back. And boy, does it sting. Now,
did your promoter actually use rope?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. Some of the promoters that I work for, like when I was with WWCW, they actually, I'm not sure what they used, but they were more like cables.
Like steel cables?
They were more like cables that were encased in insulation.
Yeah.
And I even worked for some smaller promoters that actually ran a wire, like about a 2-ton strength cable. And they put a garden hose, or thread that through a long garden hose, and then wrap the garden hose in electric tape.
Oh, jeez.
And it looked good, but it made this weird sound whenever you hit it because you could hear that interior cable rattling around inside of the garden hose. Oh. But you could get some welts on your back being slapped into those things.
And I know, like back in the early '90s, like in Europe, that was like the only thing they could get was the steel ropes, which that's what caused Mick Foley to lose his ear. Because of the fact that he got caught in one of those steel ropes, and that's how his ear got ripped off.
Was it in one of those things where they tied his head between the two ropes and scissored him? Yeah. That can be a very dangerous move.
I just saw his DVD or his documentary for All Mankind on Netflix. I just finished watching it today. Very good, by the way. If you haven't seen that,
was Mick Foley on the stage with the Legends?
No.
Should he have been?
I think so. He might have prior obligations, though.
This kind of runs down into the definition of a legend. How would you define that?
See,
truly, he's legendary, but is he a legend?
I would consider any type of WBE legend as Hall of Fame. You're in the Hall of Fame, or you're soon to be Hall of Fame.
Well, by that definition, Michael Cole would be in the Legends.
Well, he's still active, though.
That's true.
Non-active.
But is not Foley active?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, he may not wrestle, but he does make appearances.
Who?
Mick Foley.
That's true. I would say he's a legend.
Okay.
Absolutely, I would say he's a legend.
Bill Watts.
I would say he's a legend.
I wonder if Bill Watts would have had the name recognition where he could have stood on stage.
Yeah, it might have been tough.
Yeah, because he was really regional. I don't know. Of course, I'm going to say that because I'm from around here.
Right.
But I don't know. Would Bill Watts be recognized outside of this area?
I think it'd be tough. I think he would, to a certain degree. I think it would be a tough sell. But yeah, I think he would, if you'd want to be. I would think he'd definitely deserve it. I'll go on record for saying that. I guess we'll see in New Orleans because they're going to do a special Q&A, Mid-South. I can't remember the website, but Jim Cornette's going to do the Q&A. Wow, with Bill Watts, and so I'm actually really excited about that because I'm actually going to be there to see that. I bet you are. And one more question about the WWE, WWE Network. Okay, $9.99. Did you have to agree to 6 months? I wonder if you have to pay that $60 all up front, or do they just bill you monthly? I think it's monthly. It's just $9.99 a month. But you can renew. You can renew. Okay, I hope they don't hit you with a fee all at one time. No, I don't think they would. Well, you never know. Man, I tell you, this was a quick 30 minutes. But I tell you, when we're talking about the WWE Network and all that they're going to be offering, it doesn't take much to fill up the 30 minutes. That's true. And then talking about the legends, we are among royalty when we're talking about these guys. Guys work hard for a living, put their lives and their bodies on the line just to provide us entertainment. And I've got to hand it to them. They do a good job. Next week, special episode of SCI Wrestling with Ring Rust Radio / Bleacher Report's Donald Wood. So please check us out next week. I hope he's cross-plugging us on his show so we can
swap plugs.
I'll email him.
Okay. All right. You do that. Meanwhile, this is WB Ward and Chip Douglas inviting you to stay tuned for us next week inside of your radio for this show that we call